Hello students, today we are going to learn some important questions of chapter 1. The question is, what is behavior? Give examples of the overt and covert behavior. The answer is, behavior refers to any response of an organism that can be measured. Okay? Any covered or overt action or reaction a person does that can be observed in some ways. A person running to catch train is an example of overt behavior. The working of human memory or problem solving might be thought of as behavior, even though they cannot be observed directly but must be inferred from their product. Okay. The next question is, how can you distinguish scientific psychology from the popular notion about the discipline of psychology? The answer is, the popular theories of human behavior are based on common sense and may or may not be true if investigated scientifically. Common sense based on hindsight. Psychology as a science looks for patterns of behavior which can be predicted and not explained after the behavior occurs. Dweck's study on children who gave up too easily when faced with difficult problems or failures is worth maintaining here. Next, common sense tells us to give them easy problems first in order to increase their success rate so that their confidence goes up. Dweck found that children who had always succeeded because they were given easy problems could not cope up with difficult problems and gave up faster in comparison to those who had experience of both success and failure and were taught to put more effort to deal with difficult problems. Such studies prove that predictions based on empirical studies are reliable and valid. Next question is, give a brief account of the evolution of psychology. The answer is, psychology as a modern discipline has a short history but a long past. It grew out of ancient philosophy. It emerged as a scientific discipline in the following phases. Number 1, structuralism. It is the oldest school approach to psychology and it was proposed by William Wundt. Structuralists were interested in analysis of human mind and its structure. They were interested in conscious experiences and wanted to study the building blocks of mind. They used introspective method to study mental processes and experiences. Next is functionalism. It is an approach to psychology developed by an American psychologist, William James. They emphasized on what the mind does and the function of consciousness is adjustment to the environment. According to them, consciousness is an ongoing stream of mental process. It can't be broken down into parts. They also used introspective method to study mental processes and experiences. Next is behaviorism, proposed by John B. Watson, who viewed psychology as the science of behavior, and behavior could be described objectively in terms of stimuli and response, that is SR connection. This approach proposed that mentalists' concepts such as consciousness, image, or mind cannot be measured or studied objectively and scientifically. Watson emphasized on observable and behavioral response to stimuli. He was influenced by Pavlov's classical conditioning and was interested in the study of learning. Next is Gestalt Psychology. This approach was a revolt against structuralism founded in Germany by Wertheimer, Kohler, and Kafka. It focused on perceptual organization, that is, organization of what we see, and they also demonstrated the law of perceptual organization. Structuralists wanted to break down perception into elements, but Gestalt stated that when we look at the world, our perceptual experiences is more than the sum of components of the perception. That is, we give meaning to perception. For example, when we look at a table, we do not see four wooden legs and trapezoid plane surface about it, but we recognize it as a table. Next is Psychoanalysis. This approach was proposed by Dr. Sigmund Freud. He viewed human behavior as a dynamic manifestation of unconscious desire and conflict of which we are not aware at present. He used psychoanalysis as a system to understand and cure psychological disorders. Next is Humanism. It was advocated by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. They emphasized on the free will be human beings, that is, people are free to do whatever they choose to do. Their actions are not predetermined by any force. They said that human beings strive to grow and unfold their inner potential, that is what they are capable of doing. According to them, all individuals have innate tendency to self-actualize, and all human activities are goal-directed and worthwhile. Next is cognitive perspective. This perspective is combination of Gestalt approach and structuralistic approach. This approach focused on cognition, that is, how we know the world through thinking, understanding, perceiving, memorizing, and problem solving, etc. Jean Piaget and Vygotsky are the pioneers of this approach. Cognitive psychologists view the human mind as an information processing system like a computer. Mind is considered to receive, process, transform, store, and retrieve information. Mind is dynamic, and human being actively constructs their mind as they interact with the social and physical environment and interaction between adults and children. Okay, students, that's all. Thank you.